ChatGPT 5.2 has just dropped and it's massive hype. It's meant to outstrip Google Gemini now, be the most powerful for reasoning and coding. And today I spent all day putting it through the test to see what business use cases can it actually handle. It's now more than just a one-shot assistant. It can handle serious complex reasoning tasks like this. Let me show you this one. This first one blew my mind. And bear in mind, I ran this prompt. I just spoke it in a chaotic way on the ChatGPT app while I was driving and let it whir away. By the time I got home, it had finished the work. So I run a seasonal business. Can you act as a world-class operational and capacity manager for hiring? The business runs 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. every day. I need one manager on shift at all times. Between 7 a.m. and 10 a.m., there must be these two workers. Between 10 and 4, there's only one worker and one manager. Between 4 and 9, there are 3 standard workers. Workers can only work 30 to 40 hours a week. Ideally, normal pay is £15 an hour and £30 an hour for a manager. Can you work out what I need to do to employ and fulfill capacity requirements? Work out the budget, the daily, weekly, monthly cost to cover staff, and output everything, including a demo rota, into the spreadsheet. So if you've ever worked out rotas, capacity, anything like that in your work, then this is mad, because in 14 minutes and 23 seconds, it had built what we needed. And check this out. Like, this is impressive. Firstly, the spreadsheet is nice. I don't even have to go and format the spreadsheet. It's ready to go. We've got our overview page as I asked for. So open time, close time, 7 till 9, every day of the week. It's got pay and max staff hours, although it doesn't have min staff hours. Then we've got staffing requirements by time band. So it's broken down. It's taken everything I told it, broken it down into a nice clean board for me here, and then actually gone and said we need 14 hours cover for managers a day, standard hours workers a day 27. So it's broken it all down and given me my manager and worker cost, daily, weekly, monthly. So the 30-day month cost, or the average cost, is about £25,000 a month. But then what's really cool is it's gone and built my sample rota. So if we're hiring a brand new team, we can kind of get an idea of the sort of shifts people are working. We've even got names in there. Morgan, Riley, and Jordan are the management team, 5 days a week. It's even thought, hey, let's make sure these guys get 2 days off in a row. Riley maybe is more part-time, and we've got the total hours and pay in there nicely with a different split between what people are working. We've even got it color coded between early, late, and split shifts. So our standard workers the same again, although they don't seem to get. It's a seasonal job, so they get 1 day off a week. That's not uncommon with seasonal work. And then looks like everyone has 1 or 2 split shifts a week, but it varies person to person, so you could rotate these as well. 40 hours a week, between 37 and 40 hours a week, and the weekly pay and costs as well. So it's a great starting point. We've got our rota built out almost instantly in 15 minutes whilst I was driving. That's an insane kick forward for GPT now to actually do full work for people. So I guess, like, if you wanted to from here, you could go and start optimizing for cost and say, hey, I need to bring the cost down. How can we tweak, or where can we cover and save hours based on some other parameters? Now, I should mention all of these reasoning and thinking tasks. Make sure you've got ChatGPT 5.2 thinking on, because that's what's going to give you this sort of ability to reason and think through problems and keep context throughout. So it was awesome to be able to give it a messy thought of what I need to achieve and get a really clean output. That was insane. But this is giving it a lot of data. So I want to give it thousands of lines of spreadsheet data and get it to build an analysis and a strategy out the other end. So it needs to extract, build to my business's goals, and then output at the other end. So this is for SEO, search engine optimization. So I've given it a list of 1,000 keywords that I need it to cluster into different articles that we want to rank at the top of Google to establish a real authority in our niche. So there's several steps it needs to go through. It needs to look at the business goals, carry them through with context, analyze and identify certain areas, sort and cluster the keywords, and put it all out into a strategy with certain output requirements and constraints. So we'll run that task, and you'll see it goes through a lot of different processes, a lot of short, sharp thinking patches of what it's going through here, clustering keywords, building the pillars for each topic area, fixing problems in the spreadsheet, designing and presenting my spreadsheet table. And this is what it actually came out with. So what we've got is it's a bit more messy than my last sheet, which was a bit annoying, but it's actually done a pretty good job in I guess, mapping, and like it looks a bit gobbledygook here. So I actually wanted to give it a bit more structure. So what I gave it was an actual template that I like to use for organizing my keywords here. And it actually then went away and used that template to reorganize everything we've done. And now we're in a much better position. We still have this main sort of more overarching page for all the data, but also if we hit, we can see along the bottom here, we've got different tabs for different topic sections. So I can break all of my content down by what topic we're talking about. This one is, for example, platforms and tools for email marketing. You can see here, Drip email marketing platform is our main topic of our page. And then it's got all the keywords related to Drip email marketing nicely clustered in there that we need to talk about on our page. So as an SEO professional, this is in a really pretty close to a usable state that something would either take me days to do or just simply was struggled to be done by a lot of even specialist SEO tools now. This next bit is where things take a massive leap forward for GPT in what you can do. This is now a genuine possibility and a genuinely good output for creating slide decks. So from that analysis, all I said was, from that spreadsheet it created, create a 5-page PowerPoint slide deck that I can present an overview of the strategy and opportunity to my client. Because obviously I don't want to just give my client a load of data in a spreadsheet. They won't understand it even if I do. So it pulled together this 5-slide deck for our SEO topical authority strategy, gave us the quick overview of the potential opportunities here and how many planned pages. Then we got these cool graphs built out of where actually the supply and where the most focus or where the most volume is going to be. We've got, okay, this could be a little better, to be fair, like this map of the different areas. So we're talking about service pages, the bottom of funnel sales pages, platform and tool sort of recommendations guides, but it's pretty close to a good hub and spoke representation. Nice roadmap and priorities of, like, I love this sort of donut chart that gives me top of funnel, middle of funnel, bottom of funnel page breakdown and the phased execution of the high priority pages. And then finally, this is the money page. What are we going to do? How are we going to execute it? This is where I finish selling. And it does a pretty good job of saying, this is what's happening in the first month, finalize this, set up tracking, finish off content briefing, make sure that we can collect leads, and also build out what are our success metrics to prove that this is working. You know, this stuff couldn't happen 2 days ago in ChatGPT. If you're making lead magnets, then stop with the ebooks and just boring PDF downloads. No one reads them anymore. We need to do something better. We need to start building new age lead magnets. And that means using AI like ChatGPT 5.2 to brainstorm and build digital tools. So you're a world-class product specialist with 20 years of experience. We're going to brainstorm tools for my business that are going to be lead magnets for my AI-focused YouTube channel. These need to solve specific problems, pain points for learning to use AI for business and marketing that actually deliver value, examples, etc. in there. Now it's going to give us our list of ideas here that we can start searching through. One that I've picked is actually an AI use case finder. So people don't actually know where AI can help their business this week, small business owners, etc. A 60-second quiz that outputs the 3 high-impact AI workflows and a paid AI opportunity map or workshop. This could be really useful. So I'm going to ask it to say, can you work out how this would operate and actually build the idea for me? I don't want to have to sit and code this or map it out too much. I want this to work real quick using 5.2. And in just about 5 minutes, we've got our MVP. You can see version MPV, MVP. So yeah, we could improve the design and stuff, but it's come out really nice. We can actually run our 60-second quiz. What best describes your business? Let's say agency. I actually want to be able to publish more content quicker, more consistently, particularly on social media. I'd love to post on LinkedIn more often. What's your biggest bottleneck? Probably offer clarity. Messaging feels a bit messy. Like, what am I actually offering on LinkedIn sometimes? And how much can I invest in this a week? Probably like, at the moment, 1 to 2 hours. I maybe could push to half day. We'll put 1 to 2 hours. Annoyingly, the only thing I see in this is I can't select multiple options, but testimonials or reviews I already have. How comfortable are you with tools advanced? I can handle workflows. What format do you want AI to produce for you? Copy and scripts, plans and checklists, templates. Love reusable assets. Reusable assets make everything so much quicker. And actually, what we've got at the bottom here, kind of cool, it's actually given us an FAQ to sales page, first draft. It's actually creating prompts for us. So This is a quiz that takes people and shows them what prompts to use, which is really that's pretty neat. One idea, 12 pieces. So I can start with one idea and it's going to come up with 4 ideas for my content, a lead magnet builder. This is really nice. It's giving us options. These are the problems I'm struggling with. Hey, here's some custom prompts based on what you've told me that are going to be really useful. And then it's going to sell our offer at the bottom, retake the quiz, or send it. This is really nice. Like, it's simple, but could be really effective because it's actually giving some useful things out the other end, really tailored to that person's problems. Now, another leap forward for ChatGPT 5.2 is its coding ability, as we've just seen, but actually replicating other things. So I actually wanted to replicate this, I guess, competitor website, but it's a nice website, nicely designed. It has actually some sliding elements and buttons and currency changes on there and stuff like that. I've struggled to get things like ChatGPT to actually give it screenshots and replicate something for me that has like all the motion in there and all the usable features. So we built a prompt that, you're a senior front end UI implementer. I'll give you the screenshot of a web page. You're going to rebuild an interactive web page. Usually they come out a bit flat and a bit like a poor man's version. Well, this is what GPT 5.2 came out with, and I'm pretty pleased with it. Firstly, like, the buttons work on the top, the menu works as the slider down there to the anchor points. When we hit create an account, actually brings our pop-ups out. So although they don't, work or are connected to anything, actually all the buttons work and they do something. We've got to book a call form. Our sliders work. The design is just, it feels nice. If you landed on this, you'd be like, this is a serious business. It's got the currency changer in there. Even actually when you click example basic project, it pulls out the project summary, use current settings for the mock. Granted, that popular button, it doesn't quite fit in there. We've got the sliders all work with the pricing nicely. Case studies at the bottom. Like, it's done a really stunning job of this, that we've got pretty much a base that we could then extend upon, customize, and improve based on what we wanted. But is like fairly, like, it's pretty similar. Like, it's pulled the logo across, to be fair. So we'd need to change logos and text and stuff on like that. But it's actually done a job where it's pretty similar, but like, it's not necessarily, it's close to a shot to shot rebuild. But this opening section, it has its own vibe on there and stuff, and you've got this little floating section. So it's done a banging job on that as well. Like, I'm really pleased with the quality that that's coming out with. So, 5.2 now, it's not just a quick assistant for quick jobs. It can do step-by-step tasks with deep reasoning and thinking, like the rotor we saw in the capacity planning at the start. For people who are in operations, being able to do stuff like that to get the heavy lifting done of what that staff rotor would look like is just, it's insane. Like, if you've ever tried to do that work manually, you know what a pain it is and how much of your day capacity planning can take up. And to think AI can do that now to a decent level for you, wow.